If you're seeing this video, it means that I have just now, in my timeline, crossed the 30,000 subscriber threshold. And I just wanted to say thanks. Thank you to everybody who has watched the show, who has liked and subscribed. Thank you especially to those of you who have joined the Patreon and the YouTube channel membership. Thanks to those of you who have supported me in many, many different ways, whether it was the donating of miniatures or terrain or money or this or that, anything. There was so many ways that all of you have helped. And I just wanted to say thank you. I can't imagine that 4 years ago, I would have thought, oh, well, in 4 years, I'll be crossing the 30,000 subscriber threshold. That's crazy. Now, in YouTube terms, that's nothing. That's a drop in the ocean. 30,000 subscribers is nothing. But for one guy playing games on a channel without really advertising the channel at all, that's amazing. And I'm kind of stunned as we're crossing this 30,000 subscriber threshold. I'm a little stunned, but extraordinarily grateful. As I've said before, without you, the viewer, there would be no reason for the channel. And the fact that all of you continue to come back and to watch the stuff that I produce and to get excited about upcoming things like season 4, which I'm going to talk about more in a little bit, it's great. And it kind of warms my heart to have that kind of interest and support in the work that I do on the channel. So thank you. And as a special sort of celebration, I've decided to release a special mug in honor of the 30,000 subscriber list. This is a mug that well, I'll put a graphic up so you can see it, but this is a custom handmade mug. Is everything in our shop is custom and handmade. But we decided to make this kind of cool logo with the 30,000, 30K on the die with a dragon here and flames and all sorts of lovely things. But we're going to put that up for sale in the store right now. There's also a new t-shirt design, and there's more coming as well. So by all means, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way and getting yourself some of this fine handmade merchandise, you can do so at the store, memyselfandI.com/store. I do want to talk about season 4 because it is coming up. I just released the Lichdom episodes. They're a 2-episode little miniseries, which you can see right here, that details the backstory of the principal villain that is going to be the villain of season 4. I thought I'd do a little experiment and see how that works. So far, so good. We have the quasi-lich Motzaroth, who is going to be the big bad. I'm not going to tell you who the protagonist is, although I do know now. But for those of you who didn't see the live stream I did way back in November where I talked about season 4, I just wanted to let you know exactly what's going on. But if you do want to see the live stream, the link is right there. Season 4 is coming up. I'm planning on shooting it very soon now. Probably, fingers crossed, in the next few weeks, we're hoping. But there's a whole bunch of stuff I'm still trying to do, preliminary work I'm trying to do to get ready for it, but it's been moving a lot in the background. Now, the most exciting thing about season 4 for me is that I'll be debuting my home role-playing game system that I'll be using to run season 4. Now, that system at this point still does not have a name. I have a few things sort of popping around my mind in terms of what to call it, but I will let you know what it's going to be called soon enough, because very likely the name of the season is also going to be called the name of the game, because that is something that I started to do in season 2 with Ironsworn, and then season 3 was Dominion, and so season 4, well, it'll be whatever the name of the game is. So that is coming up. Very excited. It is what I call simulation light, in that it is not a narrative game. It is not a story game in any way. It is very, very rooted in the simulation D100 games of yore, like RuneQuest, Mithras, things like this, Hardmaster. It is heavy on the detail, but my goal is to make it very fast and playable on the channel as well. So there's going to be a few different ways to handle resolution and conflict in the game. There's going to be sort of the speed resolution, where it's just essentially a couple of die rolls and you're done. And then there's an intermediate resolution, and then there's an advanced resolution, which I will break out on the channel because I'm very excited. But I don't want to tell you too much about the game yet, but I'm very, very excited about it. I've been doing a ton of playtesting behind the scenes to make sure that everything works. I don't want to do too much playtesting, because part of the purpose of season 4 is to playtest certain elements of the game to see if they work on the channel. because that'll be kind of neat to see the unfolding of a game system as we go. But I'm very excited about it because there's three main pillars to the game, all of which have really, really interesting resolution system. One is, of course, combat, because, of course, you got to have a cool combat system. The second is a social interaction system, a social conflict system, which I'm very excited about. I have used this system that I'm going to debut in the game in other games in the past, and it works marvelously. It's inspired heavily by a certain role-playing game, which I'm going to do an upcoming Sage's Library on, so watch for that. And the third pillar is the magic system. The magic system is also heavily inspired by a game that I will eventually do a Sage's Library on. But basically, the concept of the game is it's essentially a collection of the Sage's Library's greatest hits. So I looked at all the games I have in my library and all the games that I have a lot of experience running or playing. And I thought, how can I take all of the things I like the best about all of these games and put them together in one? That's the dream. That's the holy grail, and it never works. But I thought I'd give it the old college try. What I've achieved is pretty good. Like it really kind of works better than I thought it would, actually. I couldn't put everything in it. I couldn't put the whole kitchen sink in it because then it just becomes a big bloated mess. So my goal is to try and make it easy to learn and play, but still retain all of the details that I so love in those more simulationist kind of games. So I'm going to be trying to keep season 4 short. Season 1 was, I think, 22 episodes. Season 2 was 18, and season 3 was 22 as well. I'm going to try and keep the narrative tightly focused this time because I do want to keep the season a little shorter. I'm thinking maybe between 6 and 10 episodes, but we'll see. The dice will always tell the story. I have no control over that, but I can try and guide it as best as I can. The reason for that is because there are so many different videos that I want to do, and I don't want to take 6 months just to produce the show. The show itself, the main show, takes so much out of me creatively. For those of you who watch the live stream, you will know that to produce one episode of the show takes me something like 50 hours. So it's just me. There's no editor. There's no director of photography. There's no producer. There's no nothing. It's just me. I do everything. So that takes a lot of time. And I want to do so many different types of videos. I don't want 2024 to be just about season 4. I want it to be about season 4 and more stuff. So that's why it's going to be slightly shorter, at least I hope. Like, as I said, the dice will always tell the story and maybe make a liar out of me, but until they do, the goal is to keep it short. So that's the situation on season 4. I will be starting it very soon. I'll be using my own game system. We have the villain, I have the protagonist, and I have the opening sort of little movie. You know, you guys who watch the main show know that I do a little opening movie every season, so I've got that script, and I'm busy producing that right now. So then I'll just sit down and start to play and start to see if the game works and start to see if it's any good. So thank you. 30,000 subscribers and growing. Here's to 30,000 more in the coming year. Wouldn't that be something? Very much appreciate everything you guys have done for me, and appreciate you liking and subscribing and buying the merchandise at the store and joining the Patreon and joining the YouTube channel memberships and telling your friends about it and writing about the show and writing about the videos on Reddit and various forums and stuff. It means a great deal to me. And I'm very excited to bring you more. So that is what I will do. So thank you, and I will see you next time on Me, Myself, and I.